Hi everybody, today we're going to look at the vertical line test for graphs of functions. What the vertical line test does is it helps us look at a graph and determine if that graph is a function or not. Our rule is the graph of a function can only be intersected by a vertical line and at most one point. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to start with this graph that goes up and down and up and down, and we're going to decide if this graph is a function. So to help us, I'm going to put a vertical line on the graph. Then I'm going to move the line through the graph and see if it touches at any place twice. And we can see that it does not. Because there's no place where the vertical line intersects the graph in more than one place, we can say that this is a graph of a function. So let's try again. This time I have a graph that kind of looks like a U that got knocked over to the left. We're going to decide if this is a graph of a function. I'm going to put on a vertical line, and I immediately see that this line intersects the graph in 2 points. So because the vertical line intersects the graph in more than one place, I can say this graph is not a function. Let's look at a more complicated graph, which is a graph that is made up of more than one part. What's really going to be important when you have graphs like this is looking at the endpoints, seeing if you have open or closed endpoints. And because I have this point that is open, when I put in a vertical line and go through, I can see at this place where it kind of looks like the line is intersecting at 2 points, it really only intersects at 1 because that open point doesn't count. This tells me that because the line is only intersecting every place on the graph in 1 point, that we do have the graph of a function. Now let's look at a second one kind of like this. This time I have again 2 lines, and I put the points on the graph to really show you what's going on. So in the top line, I have an endpoint of 5, 250, and then in the bottom line, I have a point of 5, 200. So I have 2 different points on the graph where the x-coordinate is 5 and there's a different y-coordinate. So that doesn't correspond to our definition that says that x's cannot repeat. This tells me the graph is not a function.